Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eve, and welcome to Flight Academy. So today we are going to be taking a look at bookmarks. So for a brief overview of what this video will entail, we'll be taking a look at what are bookmarks, creating bookmarks, types of bookmarks, and how to organize your bookmarks. So first things first, what are bookmarks? A bookmark is a stored location in space of a place in EVE Online. You can pretty much bookmark everything in EVE Online. Just to narrow down to a few objects, so a physical object such as a jet can, a station, your own wreck, asteroids, wormhole entrance, exits, etc. Abstract points are points that you just randomly save inside of EVE Online. For example, like what I currently have on screen right now. This is my recording location in the Corazor Prime solar system, and I can always return to it at a later time should I need to log off or go record a different video. So next up, we're going to be talking about creating bookmarks. There is a total of 4 ways to create bookmarks in New Eden. Real quick, before we go into a bookmark creation, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the new location window. This is a window that you're going to be faced with every single time you create a bookmark. So the label is another word for the name. You can type whatever name you'd like inside of this box. So in our case, we'll name it test location 100 kilometers. That way we know that it's 100 kilometers away from our, for example, recording location. The notes, well, most of the time we don't really include notes, but it's your bookmark. You do what you want with your bookmark. So in this case, we'll just say warp in at 100 kilometers. The folder is where your bookmark will be saved. We'll be going into this at a later point in the video when we're talking about organizing bookmarks. The expiration is quite important. If you never want this bookmark to expire, make sure you have never checked. If you want this bookmark to automatically expire and delete itself in 2 days, click on 2 days. Same thing for 3 days. Once you are satisfied with your settings, go ahead and click submit. Do keep in mind that all of these information that you have inputted into that new location box is changeable. So for our first method, we are going to be using the Control B method. This is done by pressing Control and B on your keyboard to bring up the new location window. So just like before, go ahead and name it whatever you want. Maybe add a note of some type. Select the location you want to save it to. Set your expiration and hit submit, and boom, your bookmark has now been completed. This way, or this method rather, is spectacular if you need to bookmark a specific location and spot, maybe in warp, or maybe just at an asteroid belt that you really like to mine at. For the next method is the Radial Menu. This is something I personally do not like using and find it completely useless and forget it exists half the time, but you can create bookmarks using the Radial Menu. So in order to do that, you need to open up your Radial Menu, go over to the plus icon, and then down to the pin, which is conveniently named as Save Location. Once you let go, you'll be greeted with your new location window once again, and we can go ahead and name this. So Radial Menu, for example, we can add a note once again, folder, wherever you want to save it, and the expiration date, and click submit. And there you go, your bookmark has now been created using the Radial Menu. Now we'll be creating a menu using our in-game menus without having to right-click in space or do anything. So in order to do this, you are going to go up towards your Neocom menu, big E, go down to Personal, and you're going to go to People and Places. If you are using the new Photon UI, your People and Places has been renamed to just Locations. Go ahead and click on People and Places, and you'll be greeted with your Contact List, Agents, and Location tabs. Click on Locations, and at the very bottom, click on Add Location. This will bring out your new location window, and once again, we can give it a name. We'll just name this Full, and we'll add a note once again, the location where we want to save it to, and how long we want it to expire. Click submit, and your bookmark has now been created using the long method. So for our final method in creating bookmarks, we are going to be bookmarking a physical object or item in EVE Online. So we're here in a Dead Space agent location, and we're going to go and save this Armageddon. So there's two ways to actually do this. Number one is to right click the Armageddon and hit save location. It'll bring up your new location window, and just go ahead and save it as is, and you have now saved a physical location. The other way is actually through your overview. So in this case, we don't have the Armageddon on our overview. We'll right click, let's add it to our overview. We'll right click the Armageddon on our overview and save location. Once again, it brings up the new location window. We'll name this overview, and we'll hit submit once we've filled out all the information that we wanted. And there we have it. We have now saved a physical location in EVE Online. Once again, this works with asteroids, stations, jet cans, anything physical that doesn't require an arbitrary point like we were creating earlier on in this video. Now that we know how to create bookmarks, we can take our knowledge of that and apply it to making a bookmark that benefits us. So we're going to be talking about the types of bookmarks. But the first type of bookmark that we're going to be talking about is the instant docks and undocks. For those of you that don't know, every station within New Eden, even a citadel, has a designated bubble around it that is designated its docking range. You have to be within that bubble in order to dock your ship. If you're outside of that bubble, or if you land outside of that bubble, your ship will approach the station. Once it gets within 2,500 meters of the station, it will then proceed to dock inside the station. But depending on your ship and how far away you land outside of that bubble, it can open you up to attacks. So, for example, here we are in Amar. The Amar trading hub is directly above us, and we are well outside of our docking range. So for a instant dock bookmark, we can right click and we can go directly to our dock. This will put us directly, in our case, on the outside or just underneath the undock. But it puts us inside of the bubble. That is the station docking bubble. Now, if we right click, we can dock right away, no issues. A instant undock bookmark is entirely the opposite of an instant dock. It is to get you away from the station as fast as possible without having the chance of somebody locking you up and destroying your ship or tackling you outside of docking range, or in some cases to maneuver a freighter, a titan, or a carrier without bumping into the station. Here is a quick example of how to use a quick undock. So we'll undock from the Amar Oris station. And right away, we'll right click, undock, warp to location. And our ship will instantly enter warp without having to spool up its warp drive. And now we are almost 250 kilometers away from the station in only a matter of seconds. Real quickly, I will show you how to create an instant undock. The best way to do this is in a frigate with a micro warp drive on it. Doesn't necessarily have to have weapons, it all depends on where you are. So we're currently docked in the station, we'll undock. Now we're going to point our camera directly down, and we're just going to click as straight down as we possibly can, and we're going to activate our micro warp drive. The only way for this to work and create your instant undock is that you must be a minimum of 150 kilometers away from the station. Once you are at a satisfied distance away from the station, stop your ship and you'll need to create your arbitrary waypoint in space. In our case, we'll use Control B, and you can go ahead and save your new instant undock, submit, and now you can use it whenever you undock from the station. Do keep in mind that all station undocks are slightly different. I pointed my ship directly down during this demonstration, but you may have to point your ship up or at a weird angle or directly horizontal, so do keep that in mind. For our next type of a bookmark, this is going to be objects and anchorables. So this is, for example, bookmarking a citadel, a boss, if those things are still around, and or a jet can, where you just save the physical item location in space and use it to warp there and back at your leisure. Next up, we have save spots and tactical bookmarks. We're going to go real briefly over them. There is going to be a separate video coming out that's going to be focusing on just save spots and tactical bookmarks. So for a save spot, we can have a mid-save where it is aligned with a celestial, a station, a stargate. We can have unaligned saves, for example, like my recording location in Corazor. Deep saves where it is very, very deep in space, nobody can warp to you, and you can only be scanned down. Rolling saves is where a ship or you, for example, are aligned with your prop mod on at a celestial, and you keep creating a bookmark every 150 kilometers or so. Tactical bookmarks are more for observation, done like we currently have here, where we can see the Stargate below us, and if we had our overview open, we can see who is arriving, who is jumping out, what ship they are in. We have off-grid tacticals, where we are just so on the edge of the grid that should we need to have a response fleet to save, for example, a friendly, we can warp off that grid and land on the Stargate, for example, in only a matter of seconds. Bounce points are mainly going to be used out in nullsec, where if you are in a spot that has a lot of drag bubbles, you can set up a bounce so that you warp to that location first and then you warp down to the Stargate. I'll have a separate video for all of these save spots and tactical bookmarks coming out at a later point. So finally, we have PvE bookmarks. These are mainly used for mining if you find a nice spot to mine at that's very close to all the asteroids. There's also the mission or exploration bookmarks, where you can save a certain site or a wreck in order to return to it at a later point. For example, to mine at a mission location that has a lot of asteroids. And there's finally the wormhole entry and exits. This is a major one because a lot of newer players in EVE Online make this very same mistake. They enter a wormhole, but they do not bookmark the other side. Inside of a wormhole, if you do not have scanner probes, or you lose your scanner probes, or you just forget to bookmark the exit, really the only way out is to self-destruct your ship, because otherwise you are going to be stuck inside of that wormhole for good. So make sure you bookmark your entries and your exits depending on how you are going about your wormhole exploration. There are two types of bookmarks in EVE Online. There are your corporation bookmarks, which have a round top, and you have your personal bookmarks, which have a square top and look like a pin. But finally, this brings us to organizing bookmarks. So bookmarks are organized in folders like you see currently on screen. So I had to go ahead and create the personal folder in order to actually make those bookmarks that we created in the beginning of the video. The two folder types that exist in organization are your personal and your shared locations. So at the very top here, this is going to be a personal folder that I have. And then right over here under shared locations, the folder looks like a networked folder on your computer. This in turn is a shared location, and it's shared between many other characters. You can have a maximum of 3 shared location folders enabled at any one given time. Only 3 allowed, but you can have as many as you want offline. So if you have certain bookmarks that you are jumping in between, or your corporation has a few that you need, you can online and offline them at will. So that makes organization very easy to do in EVE Online. A neat trick in organizing your bookmarks is that if you use, for example, the exclamation mark, the $sign, the question mark, or the @ symbol, you can organize your folders in such a way that your dock folder will show up first, and then your moon spots will appear second, your undocks will appear second, or however you want to organize your folders. This is all up to you. There is no proper way to organize your bookmarks or folders. It's just a matter of what suits you the best. That's it for this video, guys. Fly dangerous. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. You guys can check out my other previous videos by clicking the two thumbnails on screen right now. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Fly dangerous. Peace.